Hello students, I am your computer digital mentor and today we are going to start a very interesting chapter of computer, that is chapter number 6, Introduction to HTML5. So in this chapter we are going to learn about HTML and their objectives and their uses. So before we start our chapter, here we have some lesson objectives and those are: what is HTML and its brief history, tools used in HTML, creating an HTML document, tags, elements and attributes, rules of writing HTML code, HTML document structure, common HTML elements, cascading style sheets, methods of applying CSS, then lastly background properties. All these topics we are going to discuss in brief in this chapter. So let's start. Internet has become an integral part of our lives. It is a worldwide system of computer networks, a network in which users at any one computer can, if they have permission, get information from any other computer. Computers on the internet are either server or client and communicate via networking protocol. The client sends requests to the server and the server responds immediately with the required data. The server stores files and information in the form of websites. These websites contain millions of pages called web pages, which includes text, graphic, video, audio and link to other pages called hyperlinks. These web pages can be acquired by different users around the world by using internet connection. Have you ever imagined how these web pages are created? Which language is used to write the web pages? The answer is HTML. HTML is the most widely used language to design web content for the internet. Let us learn the basics of HTML. So let's start our first topic, that is HTML. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. So this is the full form of HTML. It is used to mark text for worldwide web pages in order to obtain colors, style, picture, etc. It is a complete code package that enables the user to create web pages that comprises both text and graphics. It is simple markup language that expresses the structure and behavior of the web document. All the web browsers are created to understand and interpret this language. It can be assisted by technologies such as cascading style sheets and scripting language such as JavaScript. Here you can see the picture of Learn HTML. So now students, let's read about hypertext. What is hypertext and what is their use? So hypertext refers to a word, phrase or of text that can be linked to another document, text or web page. It includes both textual hyperlinks, graphical ones. When you click on the hypertext, it opens a new web page. Now next is markup language. A markup language is a computer language that uses tags to define elements within a document. It is human readable, meaning marking file contains standard words rather than typical programming syntax. Originally, HTML was designed with the intent of defining the structure of documents to simplify the sharing of scientific information between researchers. Now it is being widely used to format web page with the help of different tags. Now our next topic is brief history of HTML. In this topic we are going to learn the brief history of HTML. So let's read with me. HTML begins its journey in the early 1980s with GML, that is General Markup Language. In 1986, this language was improved and standardized and was named SGML, that is Standard General Markup Language. In 1989, Tim Berners-Lee and his team modified this language and named it as HTML. The standard version of it came into existence in 1995 when HTML 2.0 version was launched. Later on, after 2 years, HTML 3.0 and then after 2 years, HTML 4.0 was launched. HTML5 came into being around 2008. The two major organizations that were involved in developing HTML5 were W3C, that is World Wide Web Consortium, and WHATWG, that is Web Hypertext Application Technologies Working Group. So let us learn about the basic of HTML5. So HTML5 कब आया था? HTML5 पहले HTML 2.0, then 3.0 and then 4.0 और उसके बाद 2008 में HTML5 आया जो अभी हम यूज करते हैं. अब हम पढ़ेंगे HTML के कुछ बेसिक एलिमेंट्स. So first is HTML5. HTML5 represents the latest version of HTML. It is a markup language by which we can create a web page in an easy and convenient way. Now, adding audio and video clip in the web page is as easy as including images, which was unfeasible in the earlier version. Without the support of external software or plugin link Flash Player, with the Canvas feature, you can also draw images directly in the web page. All these features of this new version have added relevance and credibility to it. Now students, our next topic, that is tools used in HTML. So what tools we used in HTML? Let's read. We need two basic tools to work with HTML documents, and those are first HTML editor for creating and saving the document, and second browser for viewing the documents. So now let's read HTML editor. HTML editor is a program used for creating web page. It makes HTML formatting faster and easier. A HTML editor is a program for editing HTML. The markup of web page, although the HTML markup in web page can be controlled with any text editor. Specialized HTML editors can offer convenience and added functionality. Our ideal HTML editor should be able to do the following functions. These are: justify that the HTML is in agreement with the standard rules. Second, preview pages created in different web browsers. Third, include an FTP, that is File Transfer Protocol client. Then, over convenience and added functionality. Then, manage communication with remote web servers. Supports meta tags, that is tags that provide information about a web page and do not affect the display of the page. And lastly, provide editing of images. The two most commonly used HTML editors was WYSIWYG editor and text editor. So let's read first WYSIWYG editor. So WYSIWYG stands for what you see is what you get. It allows the user to do editing directly within the web browser. It is not essential to have the knowledge of HTML while working with WYSIWYG editor. This type of web editor allows the user to see how the page will be appeared in a web browser. It is easier to work with even for no-voice computer user. It is equipped with graphical interface and tools for developing web page and inserting images, tables, lists, hyperlinks, etc. The WYSIWYG editor helps to create the website quickly. Some of the popular WYSIWYG editors are Adobe Dreamweaver, Amaya, Google Web Designer, Microsoft Font. Now students, let's read text editor. The text editor involves the use of HTML text editors such as WordPad and Notepad. Can be used to create HTML document. Text editor provide a variety of features such as HTML value editor, auto completion of coding, FTP syntax, hyperlinks, table generation, and URL highlights. The user who have some knowledge of HTML can use text editor. Now students, let's jump to our next topic, that is browser. A browser is an application program that provides a way to look at and interact with all the information on the World Wide Web. It is used to view the HTML document. Some commonly used web browsers are, these are some commonly used web browsers, that is Google Chrome, Apple Safari, Internet Explorer, Mozilla Firefox, Microsoft Edge, and Opera. So these are some web browsers. Or a computer program that lets you look at word and pictures from other computer systems by retrieving information through telephone wires. So students, let's start our next topic, which is creating web page in HTML. So In this topic, we are going to read how will we create web page in our HTML. So let's read. To create a web page in HTML, follow these given steps below. First, open Notepad by clicking on Start, then All Apps, then Windows Accessories, and lastly Notepad. Next is the Notepad window will display. Then type the HTML code as shown in the figure. Here you can see the figure of HTML code. Then next, click on the file and then save option. The save as dialog box will display. Select the target folder to save the file and mention the name in file name text box with an extension of .html. Lastly, click on the save button to save your web page. So this is how you can create your HTML document. Now students, with that, let's jump to our next topic, which is viewing a web page in HTML. So after creating your web, how will you view your web page? Let's read. To view web page, follow the steps given here. So first is double click on the Internet Explorer icon to pin the browser. Click on the file menu and select open option. A dialog box will appear on the screen. Next, click on the browser option and location the HTML file by choosing the appropriate file and folder in which you have saved the file. You can see the interface along with this step. Next is click on the open button and address in the dialog box display. For example, C administrator my document my first page.html. So this type of text you might see when you open your HTML document. Now click on the OK button and the browser will display the page. Here you can see the interface along with this step. HTML code is made up of element, tag and attributes. So here you can see the interface. First is viewing address. This type of address you might see when you open your HTML document. And second is the web page displayed. So these are some interfaces you might see when you open your HTML document. Now students, it's time to know an interesting fact, that is, let's know the fact. Opera, a popular web browser by Opera Software, is known for its features like download manager, inbuilt phishing and malware protection, etc. It is also the default integrated browser of various mobiles. So now students, our next topic is tags, elements and attributes. So we are going to learn about tags, elements and attributes. So first let's read our tags. Tags are the bits that make up element. They include element which define how the information on a web page is formatted or displayed. You can also add non-text item like images, links and list on the web page using the text. Tags do not display in the browser window, but they affect the display of the text and non-text items in it. Each tag in HTML follows certain rules and syntax. These tags are not case sensitive. For example, small HTML means the same as capital HTML. The HTML tags are placed before and after the text. Each tag giving a particular instruction starts with a less than sign and ends with a greater than sign. Tags are also called angular brackets, which use as less than p and then bigger than p before the block of text that we want to label as a paragraph. This is the opening tag or the on tag. At the end of the text block, we insert this p. This is the closing tag of the off page tag. So to specify a paragraph, you will type the following in the text editor. So here you can see the syntax. This type of tag you have to apply when you add a paragraph. So this p is an on tag and this p is a off tag. Now students, this is it from tags. Let's read about elements. An element in HTML represents some kind of structure and generally contain a start tag, content and an end tag. Or you can say an element is a single chunk of code comprising opening and closing tag. The HTML elements can be classified as container element and empty element. So students, let's read what is container element. The element that consists of both on and off tags are called container element. तो जो elements जिनके अंदर on और off दोनों tags होते हैं वो हमारे container element होते हैं. Here you can see the example. This makes the text bold. Now next is empty elements. Empty elements include only on tags, do not have off tags. These elements do not enclose any data, instead they do some function on their own. So जिनके अंदर सिर्फ ऑन टैग्स होते हैं उन्हें कहते हैं एम्प्टी एलिमेंट्स. सो एम्प्टी एलिमेंट्स के अंदर ऑफ टैग्स नहीं होते. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, this it breaks the line and display the text from the next line. So students, let's know the fact. The meta tag, which is placed inside the head element, is used to specify page description, keywords and other metadata information, that is information about data of the HTML document. Now let's read about attributes. In HTML, an attribute is a characteristics of a page element such as font, size or color. All attributes contain two parts, a name and a value. The name is the characteristic that you want to set and the value is what you want for the specific characteristic. Attribute value is also enclosed within quotes. Or you can say attribute is a piece of code attached to a tag which supplies additional information. For example, the width attribute of the h of this tag defines the width of the horizontal line in pixels, or percentage by default. The width of the horizontal rule is 100%. So when we write this, the horizontal line will cover only 50% of the page. We can use more than one attribute inside a tag. So students, this is all about attributes, tags and elements. Now our next topic is rules for writing HTML code. So students, there are some rules we have to follow if you want to write HTML codes. So let's read our rules. Tags and attributes are not case sensitive, so capital head and small head have the same meaning. Next, container tags should always be closed because an unclosed tag can lead to undesired results. Next, value given to the attribute should be enclosed within quotes, particularly if the value contains any blank space. Next, attribute value can be case sensitive. Then next, when the tags are inserted, that is, when you start a tag within another tag, you need to close the inner tag before closing the outer tag. So for example, this tag is incorrect and the second tag is correct. So this is the example of writing correct tag. Next is tag name should not include space. For example, writing body as body is incorrect. Next and last, there should be no space between in a tag. Now students, after rules we have our next topic, that is HTML document structure. So the general structure of an HTML document has two parts, head and body. This contains the information about the HTML document. So let's read first head section. The head gives general information about the document. For example, the title defines the title for the page on the browser title bar. Now, body section. The body comprises the text which gets displayed on the web page together with other tag and attribute. It contains text, graphic and other HTML elements that provide control and formatting for a page, such as fonts, paragraph, list and other elements. Let us learn about the basic structure of an HTML document. So students, let us read some basic structure of HTML document. First is, the HTML documents begin with a HTML tag and ends with an HTML tag. Everything is written within these tags. If the instructions are not enclosed in tags, then a web browser will suppose the common as text. Next, the head tag is the HTML document header. It is located just below the HTML tag. It includes information that is important about the web page, but you cannot see it in the browser window. The head includes no text within itself. And next, the title tag is to be placed within the head tag. It includes the title of the document. The title is appeared on the title bar at the top of the browser window and not inside the window itself. The title should be short and contain less than 64 characters. तो जो हमारे टाइटल टैग्स है उनके अंदर 64 से ज्यादा कैरेक्टर्स नहीं होने चाहिए. नाउ स्टूडेंट्स, नेक्स्ट इज The body tag includes the content of your document which gets emerged on the web page in your browser window. In the body tag, we use number of formatting elements, images, heading, list and hypertext link to enlarge the look of a web. So now students, let's jump to our next topic, that is common HTML elements. So there are two basic type of HTML elements used in the body tag. These are first block level element and then next text level element. A block level element take up the full width available and by default starts on a new line. These elements contain tags like paragraph, that is this P, heading, that is H1, horizontal rule, that is HR, and centering, that is center. Text level elements are used to mark up bits of text. It does not begin on a new line, only takes up as much width as required. These contain tags like body B, italic I, line break, that is BR. This is the interface. You can see all the steps in here. In the coming section, we will discuss some of the common HTML elements that are used frequently in a HTML document. Here you can see an HTML document using all the tags here. Now students, let's read about heading. HTML defines 6 levels of heading. A heading element implies all the font changes, paragraphs, break before and after, and any white space necessary to render the heading. Then paragraph. To show paragraph element, P is used to show a long piece of text on a web browser, which marks a block of text as a paragraph. To mark the end of a paragraph, that this element is used. When you start another paragraph, the web browser will leave one line between the two paragraphs. Now let's read line break element. Line break element separates the line and show the text on a new line. It is like an enter key on a keyboard which takes the cursor on the next line towards the left margin on the screen. Line breaks are good for ending line after short piece of information, such as address. You can introduce a line break into your HTML document. With the help of this tag, this element has no end tag. This interface shows the example of line break. Now let's read horizontal rule. It is used as divider between blocks of text. The HR element draws a horizontal line along the page. It is an empty element and has no end tag. Type HR where you want to place a horizontal line in between the text. So students, let's know the fact. HTML comments are visible to anyone that view the page source code but are not rendered when the HTML document is rendered by a browser. Now, next is comment. Till now you have noticed that whatever you write inside body tag gets appeared in the web browser. Sometimes you want to write notes for yourself in an HTML document but do not want them to be displayed in the browser window. In such case, you need to use the comment tag. Comment the text apply any of the following ways. So these are some ways we have to follow to apply comment tag. This is, here you can see the element of comment tag, or learning HTML is great fun comment. The comment tag works in Internet Explorer. Now let's read about bold. When you need to emphasize the text, the bold tag is used. Type B before typing the text that you want to display as bold and then type this element after the text. For example, here you can see the example of bold text. Now italic. Italic element is used to draw the attention of a render on any important information. This element marks up the text in italic style. Type this tag before typing the text that you want to display in italic and type this tag after the text. So this interface shows the example of bold and italic text. Here you can see the example of italic. Now our next topic is cascading style sheets. So cascading style sheets, that is CSS, is a simple mechanism for adding style. For example, font color spacing to web document. CSS help user to create a uniform look across several pages of a website. It makes easy to change style across several pages at once. Two concrete benefits of CSS includes: first, control layout of many documents while documents from one single style sheet, that is external style sheet. Then next, more precise control of layout, and then next, apply different layout to different media type, screen, print, etc. Next, more advanced option and sophisticated techniques. So students, this is it from CSS. Now our next topic is CSS terminology. So first we are in this topic. First we are going to read is property. It defines how different elements look on the web page, font family, color, background, border and the like. All are example of properties. Then we have value. This is the value of the option selected for a property. For example, value for the font family property can be font name like Monotype, Cursivia, Times, Arial, etc. Then declaration. A property and its value all together is known as declaration. For example, here you can see color is the property and green is its value. Now next is selector. It is the name of HTML element to which we want to use the declaration. For example, if you want to change the behavior of HR element, let us say its width should be 50%, then we would use HR as our selector. Then next we have rule. Selector and declaration combinedly is known as rule. Here you can see declaration, property, value. So students, here you can see and combine property and value is the declaration. Font size 20 pixel, font is property, 20 pixel is value, and combine font size 20 pixel is the declaration, and whole of this is a rule. Now students, let's jump to next topic, which is method of applying CSS. We can incorporate the style sheet rule with a HTML document in the following ways. Here are some ways. Inline the attribute style. One way to use CSS to HTML element is by applying the style attribute. The style attribute can be applied with any element in the body section, include the body tag itself. We can apply any number of declaration, each one separated by a semicolon. For example, this is the example. This is not an efficient use of style sheet as the declaration is to be repeated with every element, even if the same style is used on some other element in a document. Now, next, interior or embedded style sheet. This style has wider scope than inline method. With inline method, the effects used are limited to the element with which the style declaration has been specified. Whereas in embedded style, the effect get applied to all elements of the type with which the style declaration has been specified. To make an embedded style sheet, we make use of style tag in the head section. This here you can see the example of embedded style. Now next is external style sheet. In this method, we define the style rule individually in one file and then use it with any HTML document. An external style sheet is simply a text file with an extension that is .css. Like any other file, you can insert the style sheet with its name like style.css on your server or hard disk. This method includes two files. On the one file comprises the style code only and the other file comprises the HTML code. Let us use this style sheet to set different properties of body background. So with this, our next topic is background properties. HTML enables you to set the background style of an element with the help of the following properties, that is color, image repeat, position, attachment. So now let's first read about background color. This property is applied to set the background color of the HTML element. Syntax is background color and their value, where value is equal to color RGB color code. This interface shows how you use syntax of color background. Now students, next topic is background image. This property is used to add an image in the background of an HTML document. Syntax is background image value, where value is equal to URL, that is path of the image. Here you can see the interface of applying image in the web page. Now background position. The background position property sets the starting position of a background image. Syntax is background, position and value, where value is XPOS, YPOS. These are the values. That is, XPOS determines the horizontal vertical position respectively in units of length, and X%, Y% is horizontal and vertical position in percentage. Top, center, bottom, left, center, right. These keywords also determine the vertical and horizontal position value respectively. Value are to be chosen in conjunction from both the sets defined above. Now here we have background repeat. The background repeat property sets if how a background image will be repeated. Syntax is background is equal to repeat then value, where value is no repeat, repeat X, repeat Y, repeat. No repeat image will not be repeated. Repeat X image will be repeated horizontally. Repeat Y image will be repeated vertically. Then repeat would be default value image will be repeated in both the directions. Here, let's know the fact. By default, a background image is repeated both vertically and horizontally. So now students, next is background attachment. This property enables in either fixing the image in the background or make it scroll when the user scrolls the rest of the page. Here the syntax is background attachment value, where value is fixed scroll. Here you can see the algorithm of background attachment. This type of algorithm you might write when you want to insert background attach. So students, this is it for our HTML chapter. I hope you have learned so many things. So let's revise this chapter through some key points. First is HTML is the most widely used language to design the web content for the internet. Second, internet is a network of millions of computers which are connected to each other to information and resources. HTML code is made up of elements, tags and attributes. Then next, the general structure of an HTML document has two sections. That is, head section, it contains the title that identifies the first part of an HTML document, and body section, this is the section where we do not most of the work. Then next, HTML allow you to set the background style of an element with background property. Background image is placed accordingly to the background position property. So students, this is it from our chapter. I hope you have learned so many interesting topics and learned so many new things about HTML and our computer. So we will meet in the next class with a new interesting topic. Till then, revise what we have learned today. Thank you.